Everybody to okay, good. Welcome everybody to our spring GBM. I want to say first and foremost, thank you to everybody for coming out and joining the call tonight. We really appreciate it. So if you want to follow along as I'm presenting, feel free to go ahead and follow the bit.ly link to the GBM slides. If you follow along, you'll be able to kind of like click through links that interest you as they come up. And then in addition to that, something we're trying to do, just because this is a pretty different term, and also just to get a sense of feedback of what you guys would like to see, is we have a spring interest form that we've been going around. So if you guys have a free couple minutes, please take some time to fill this out. We really appreciate it. And it's a really great way to get your voice out there so that we can do more of things that you'd like to see. All right, so just to kind of quickly go over the agenda, first I'm just going to do an introduction both about myself and then about Drexel IEEE. We're going to go over what the current plan is for spring term events and also maybe do a bit of brainstorming about, other possible events that we could do. We're going to go over spring officer elections, which is a really big one. And then we'll also go over some different resources that we have. There'll be ECE resources, IEEE resources, and then just other various resources that we found that we think you guys might be interested in. So a little bit about myself. So I was the event coordinator for Drexel IEEE last year, and this year I'll be serving as the president of Drexel IEEE. I'm the class of 2022, so I'm a rising junior, and my major is computer engineering. I'm also doing a minor in business administration. My birthday is December 29th, 1998. I am tall, as you can see in this picture from the left, with our Dragon Hacks coordinator, or one of our Dragon Hacks coordinators, Anuva. I play the trumpet in the Drexel Pep Band. I do enjoy playing Smash. I am a Bowser main for any of my Smashers out there. I'm an overall memer and general crab raver. Take that as you will. I say okie dokie a lot, and I will be the Zumba instructor for Dragon Hacks 2021. I may not be good at Zumba, but I can put on a show. All right, and so now a little bit more about IEEE. So for those of you guys whose this might be their first GBM or maybe your first, IEEE event in general. So what IEEE stands for is the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers. We are a student branch of the world's largest technical professional organization for the advancement of technology. We try to do a lot of different things across the Drexel community, some of which include technical workshops, robotics competitions, professional development, networking, social events like our game nights, Dragon Hacks, which we just had this past February, and it went phenomenally. Thank you to everybody that came out and helped out with that, and a whole lot more. All right, so we're gonna just kind of roll right into our tentative plan for spring term events. A lot of this was kind of created based on the feedback that those of you who responded to the interest form gave. So once again, I just want to thank you guys for taking the time to fill that out. Yeah, and like I said, if you haven't submitted one yet, we really would love to hear your thoughts. Please just take a couple minutes, fill it out. It's really quick, just a couple questions. And yeah, we'd love to get, just to kind of gauge like what you'd really love to see this term. So our tentative plan. So on April 24th, we're gonna do something just a bit more relaxed and more of a social type event. What that'll be is a Netflix watch party. So the goal of that is just to provide like a couple hours where you can come hang out, unwind, relax, and we can all watch a movie together. What's great about Netflix watch party is that we can all watch Netflix simultaneously and chat with each other in a little chat room. The website for that extension is right there in the slides. One thing I do want to note, you do have to have Netflix in order to participate, or at least be signed into a Netflix account. There are other extensions where you can, you can just share with anybody, but for legal reasons with Drexel, everybody has to have a Netflix account and like different copyright reasons. So yeah. And then coming up on May 5th, which is a Wednesday, we're going to be doing a LinkedIn tips workshop. So what that workshop will cover is, the importance of online networking and a lot of the different benefits of being active on LinkedIn. We'll go over etiquette for LinkedIn, as well as some different best practices, and go over, the best way to go about making connections and a whole lot more. Uh, we're planning on having a workshop on May 19th. The subject to that is to be determined. So once we nail that down, we'll send a message out to all of you guys that are on our email list, in ECE, through Slack, etc. And we also are in the early stages of planning an event with the ECE department. We're trying to figure out what that would look like right now, whether it be some type of academic seminar, if it would be, through their guidance, like a student on student, question answer panel, or something like that. So those are two events we have coming up that we just kind of have to nail the details down about. So in terms of spring term ideas, wanted to just take a quick second to maybe get a little gauge of something you guys would maybe be interested in. So one idea that we saw in the forum and have been kicking around a little bit is an online game night. Gamers Rise Up. This would be a virtual game night. We would, try to have a lot of different games available to play. So like something like Jackbox, for example, where a group of people can play, Scribble.io and other similar games. If we can find an online game of Cards Against Humanity, online Uno, if somebody wants to set up a Minecraft server and invite everybody, or something else. We can also do, different like Wi-Fi multiplayer games, depending on what you guys are interested in. So like, for example, we can do Smash Ultimate, because I guess I need more victims apparently. I'm not gonna, that's a big jinx. Or, like Animal Crossing 2. I'm down to visit some islands. But yeah, whoop, sorry. If that's something you guys are interested in, feel free to just say so in the chat, or, just give me some type of reaction. Yeah, and then also another thing, like I mentioned earlier, a possible webinar or co-op panel. We are talking with the ECE department, just to kind of figure out like what something like that would look like this term. The goal being to kind of host something more informative, technical, or something conversational, especially because a lot of you guys that responded to that forum said that you'd be really interested in some, ECE events this term. So we're trying to get a roll on that for not only this term, but future terms. I'll be your victim from Dan. Okay, works for me. But yeah, do you guys have any ideas right off the top of your head that you might want to do for spring term that maybe we didn't talk about? You can put it in the chat right now. If you don't have any off the top of your head, that's also fine. Like I said, that form is there for you guys to put in, what you're interested in and things you'd like to see. So yeah. All right. So probably the biggest thing that I really want to talk about today is our officer elections. So just to introduce you to our executive board for the upcoming school year. So myself, I'm Matt Rance. I'm going to be the president next year. Har Patel is going to be our vice president. Madeline Harms will be our treasurer. Sam John will be our event coordinator. And Darius Olega will be our secretary. So I believe all of these guys are on the call. If you guys have any questions at all about, whether it be elections, IEEE in general, ways to get involved, all of our emails are right there on the bottom. So feel free to jot those down and just shoot us with any questions you might have. So as you guys may already know, our officer elections for this year are open. We really would love to, get, as many people as possible to apply and hear your ideas for, why you want to be an officer, what you'd love to see out of IEEE, etc. It really is the perfect opportunity to, kind of, make the club geared towards what you would like to see us do. In addition to, getting to work with a great group of people and, kind of put some of your ideas into action, it really is some also great experience. So if you're passionate about IEEE, really would like to get involved, and really want to kind of put your ideas into action, this is the perfect way to do it. From now until April 17th, which is this Friday, the applications are going to be open. So if you haven't done so already, please make sure you put in that application ASAP. And then from there, once you've signed up for the application, you'll also have signed up on a doodle poll to interview with the executive board. It's pretty much just to kind of get an idea for, why you're interested in your particular position, just to hear about some of what you'd really like to do with the role. And yeah, just overall, like what you'd love to see improve through IEEE. And yeah, so those interviews will need to be completed by April 26th, and then our decisions will be announced around May 1st. Um, One big thing I want to note is that anybody is welcome to apply. In the past, I know it's been said that you had to be a committee member, but just to make that very, very clear, you do not have to be on a committee to apply to an IEEE officer position. Everybody is welcome to apply. Um, the position descriptions are in the application. I'm going to go over just kind of a quick rundown of, what's out there and open to apply to. But yeah, you can see right there, that's from our centennial, the 100th anniversary of the club that we had last year. We all got smiles on our faces. We were having a good time. But yeah, in all seriousness, it's a really great group of people to work with. All right. So, returning officer positions for next year. So, in terms of what we've got that were positions this past year as well, we've got the vice treasurer, who would be responsible for assisting the treasurer with budgeting, fundraising activities, and the finances of Drexel IEEE. We also have our Dragon Hacks director and 2 openings for Dragon Hacks coordinator. These positions would all be responsible for the preparation and execution of Dragon Hacks 2021, which, as those of you who went to the event know, that there's a lot of planning in that, and a lot that goes with it. But it's also great because we're one of the largest, purely student-run events on campus. We also have our professional development chair. They would be responsible for coordinating events and activities related to industry, the co-op process, and/or just various professional events. We have our marketing chair, who is responsible for Drexel IEEE's social media presence, as well as creating different advertising materials. We have the website chair, who is responsible for building and maintaining the Drexel IEEE website. There is also the workshop chair, who is responsible for hosting technical workshops to teach skills in kind of a 2 to 4 hour time frame. So if you guys have been any of our previous workshops in the past, like we've done Python workshops, Arduino, our soldering one from around Thanksgiving, that's what that all would entail. Yeah, and then so we do have some new officer positions that we're introducing for next year. So one of those positions is the membership chair. This chair would be focused on recruitment, engagement, and retention of IEEE members, basically to really make sure that we're engaging our the general members and making sure that Drexel IEEE is an experience that everybody can enjoy, and that we're really reflecting the types of things that you want to see. So they'd be responsible for different tabling events and social events. So some things that would kind of fall under that category are game nights, IEEE Day, and just other different, social event ideas, just with ways to kind of get everybody together, just to hang out, talk to each other and things like that. Ideally, you want to make sure you'd be good with socializing and communication, possibly responsible for a committee as well as a good event planner. Another officer position that we're introducing this year is the conference chair. So conference chair would focus on the logistics and planning for our members to attend ECE and/or leadership-based conferences. So some responsibilities associated with that role. You'd be planning out budget, transportation, lodging, and registration for the conference. So just some examples of those conferences are Region 2 SAC, which unfortunately had to get canceled this year, the EVO conference, and whatever else you can honestly find. qualifications, you just got to make sure you're good with long-term planning, able to give progress updates in a timely manner, and make sure you're good with communication. So Julia just asked in the chat, are you able to apply for 2 different positions? And the answer is yes, you are more than welcome to apply for 2 different positions, whatever interests you. And yeah, make sure you'd fill out one application for each position. So some more new positions we're introducing this year is the academic chair. So the academic chair would focus on building the connection between IEEE and the ECE department, as we are one of the biggest, ECE-based organizations. We used to do things in the past like co-host an ECE chat, and that's something that we'd really love to get back to doing, in the coming year. And do other things like possibly lunch and learns, webinars with professors, lectures on topics you're interested in, and things like that. So you'd be the first point of contact with different members of the ECE department, such as Dr. Weber, who's the department head. You would help with events, like I said, webinars, ECE chats, lunch and learns. You want to make sure that you're good with maintaining communication with the ECE department, good with event planning, and just overall communication. This position is a really good way to build up connections in the ECE department because you'd be talking, directly with professors about different ways for them to engage with students. And then we also have the projects chair. So projects chair would focus on the technical well-being of the IEEE members through different technical projects and competitions. They'd be responsible for hosting different projects or events. So in the past, for example, we've done SumoBot and MicroMouse. You would act as a point of contact for technical help, for, be it our officers if they're planning something, or just other members in the org. You really want to make sure that you have a solid technical background, be it hardware, software, or other projects, that you're good with the communication and also could lead a committee. With this projects chair, it's really up to you or whatever ideas you have with the direction you want to take it. So like I mentioned earlier, if you want, you can do SumoBot and MicroMouse as we've done in years past with great success. If you have other ideas for things you'd want to do, you'd be more than welcome to implement those as well. It's, whatever you kind of want to make of it. And yeah. All right. So just to kind of go back real quick, for those of you that are interested in applying, the bit.ly link is right here at the top of this slide. It's just bit.ly IEEE Officer app. Just a quick reminder, the deadline for the application is this coming Friday. So if you'd really love to get more involved and apply, please, 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 please take some time, maybe tonight. The link is case sensitive. Yeah, okay, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, the link is case sensitive. So when you're entering that in, just keep that in mind. But yeah, like I said, we'd really love to see a lot of you come out and just hear your ideas for what you'd want to do with the org. All right, so just we kind of want to also, because this is a weird time, just give you guys some different resources that you can use, be it, Drexel, IEEE, or elsewhere. So some Drexel ECE resources. So in case you guys weren't aware, the first ECE chat of the term is going to be held April 16th. It'll be from 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. Through Zoom. The link for that will be sent out to ECE students on the day of. If you've got any questions or comments that you would like them to address during the chat, please fill out that survey that is linked right there. ECE chats have generally been about, opportunities for faculty, advisors, and students to come together and kind of talk about, what's going on in the ECE department, talk about their, thoughts on the curriculum. The faculty could, address some changes that they might be making and get student feedback and things like that. I believe this chat might be focused on, what the ECE department is planning on doing, kind of given the current situation, in addition to, some of the things that they normally talk about. So that's a really great opportunity to kind of get a front row seat with what's going on in the ECE department and also make some really good connections. The ECE department also has been holding faculty seminars in their ECE 101 classes, they have put those seminars up for viewing. So if you just follow that link, you can, it'll take you to a page that I believe should have these seminars that have been recorded that they gave in ECE 101. So definitely take some time if you're interested to watch those. And yeah, if you watch those and that's something you'd like to see more of, then I think the academic chair would be good for you. So the Drexel Library also has a database that we linked right there. One interesting thing that in kind of my experience that some people aren't too aware of is that Drexel IT actually has a giant list of free software that we get access to as students. Um, so like, for example, things that would be on that list are, a Microsoft Office license, if you don't have that on your laptop or computer, MATLAB for free, which I know, but um, yeah, I believe the Zoom license might be on that site as well. So yeah, it's actually a really big list of a bunch of different software that's free for you guys to use. So if you've got a chance, check that out and see if there's something on there that you'd be interested in using. And then as always on BB Learn, advising for engineers is a tab that you can always go and visit and check out just to see, different upcoming events and activities with, not only through the department, but also through the College of Engineering, student orgs, etc. And then we also have a couple IEEE resources that are open for you guys to use. So that first link right there at the top, IEEE is providing a number of resources and articles, due to the current situation, many of which do not require a student membership to access. There are a few resources that are member specific. And just to clarify, member specific doesn't mean a member of Drexel IEEE. This means being a member of the national IEEE or a student member, which I'll go over in a bit. But yeah, those two links for those resources are there. Definitely go check those out. One of those resources is Collaboratech. And what Collaboratech is it provides an opportunity to network with technology experts. So if you're really looking to build up, your professional development network, connect with members in industry, that's a really great stepping stone. And then something I actually found out just today is that IEEE, the national branch, holds virtual events. So what these virtual events are, they might be webinars, they might be podcasts, there's a variety of different things that they do. You do not have to be, viewing live in order to watch it. You can watch it on demand. So if you follow that link, you'll be able to kind of get an idea for what they're doing and what they have planned. I think you may need to be a member, but somebody can correct me on that if you go and look. But yeah, and if you'd like to become a member, then you can always get an IEEE student membership. So why become a societal member of IEEE? There are a lot of great reasons to do so if you haven't already. I myself am one. So one of the biggest reasons is that there are scholarship opportunities that are exclusive to IEEE societal members. Because nobody else can apply to these scholarships, there's a really great chance that, if you apply to one, you might get one. So that's a really nice benefit. You'll have the opportunity to attend different IEEE conferences as well as section meetings. So for example, the Philadelphia IEEE section will host meetings occasionally that you'd be able to attend. It'll help you get involved with IEEE outside of Drexel. So, if you've been kind of, involved with us, or maybe this is your first time being here and you'd really love to see, what more IEEE has to offer outside of, the Drexel community, that a societal membership is a great way to do that. You also have access to lots of great resources. So those include online journals, monthly magazines, IEEE Explore, special tech talks, professional development opportunities, and various discounts on different things. For a full list of the benefits, you can follow that link right there at the bottom. And then, yeah, for more details, go to students.ieee.org. So yeah, so one question I see in the chat is how much does membership cost? An annual student membership costs $32, which is much cheaper than the regular membership for non-students. What I will say is that there are times when that membership cost is actually a bit down. So like, for example, I got my membership actually only a few weeks ago, and when I went and got it, it was only $16. But yeah, in the grand scheme of things, whether it be like 16 or 32, it's honestly like a pretty good price for all of the different resources you're getting. So yeah, make sure to definitely check that out and become a member if you're interested. Okay, and then now for some more, general resources that aren't necessarily Drexel or IEEE related. So one of the interesting things that we've come across is Google is doing a Kickstart competition, which is kind of like a series of different coding challenges and events. Round B for that starts April 18th, and I believe around 7 p.m. So if that's something you'd really be interested in doing, make sure you check that out. There are also, a variety of other different resources for you to kind of, continue learning. If that's something you're really interested in, like picking up a new programming language, maybe covering a topic that you didn't feel like was covered, too well in class, or you really want to, learn more about something you're really interested in. Uh, we have here so that we found a Reddit mega thread that has a lot of different links for students and people in general to check out. One interesting thing we found is Code Academy is right now giving away 10,000 90-day pro scholarships for students. All you have to do is follow that link and sign up for a pro account. This is one thing that I've actually begun using, and I've found it really, really nice. Some of their pro courses are very interesting, and it's something I would highly recommend checking out. Also, Pluralsight, which is another kind of coding learning website that some of you guys might not be too familiar with. Just from my experience, I had never really heard of it until I'd gotten a co-op. They are free for the entire month of April. So, if for some reason you go to that Code Academy link and their pro scholarships have run out from that 10,000, Pluralsight is honestly a really great alternative. So I would highly recommend going to their site and checking out what courses they have for free. And just kind of a general rule of thumb, if you're looking at different kinds of software, always check to see if you can obtain a student license. This applies to things like Autodesk software and others. Uh, yeah, checking for those student licenses is something you really want to take advantage of, because even though they sometimes don't always like put it right in front of your face, there is a lot of opportunities for that out there. So definitely, check out some of those links, see if you find something you're interested. And yeah, in addition to those, if you guys find anything else that you come across that you think would be great to, kind of share with, the Drexel IEEE community, always feel free to, shoot us an email or a message, just, with that link. Because yeah, we'd love to, conglomerate that all in one place and just put that available for everybody to see. So yeah, if you guys have any other, resources or anything, yeah, feel free to share with those. Darius said other examples include SolidWorks, MATLAB is another big one, and he was able to get a student license for Altium circuit design. So yeah, definitely lots of opportunities to kind of take advantage of being a student. So make sure that you check these links out, search for others, and let us know what you find. Yeah. Okay. So if you guys are not a member with us on Dragon Link yet, please, 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 please make sure that you do that. Joining us on Dragon Link is the best way to make sure that you're hearing about all of our different events, different opportunities to get involved, etc. So you don't have to do anything special. It's not like the societal membership where you need to pay a fee. All you need to do is join us on Dragon Link, and boom, you're a member. So if you haven't done that yet, definitely do that. Also, we have a Slack that we use to communicate events and etc. That's a lot of where a lot of our internal communication happens. So if you are not a member of the Slack, also take the time to join that as well. Slack is another great way to kind of directly communicate with us. So like let's say you wanted to send me a resource that you'd like to share with everybody, rather than sending me an email, you can just find my name in the Slack and just shoot me a message. So yeah, joining the Slack, another great way to stay connected with us. You can also go ahead and follow us on our socials. So for example, you can go to our Facebook page. We have an Insta page, and then we also have a page on LinkedIn. So make sure that you're checking all of those out. Yeah. And then so that pretty much wraps it up for today. Does anybody have any, questions, comments, feedbacks, concerns, doubts or rebuttals, or anything along those lines? You can send it in the chat if you have a question, or you can just unmute yourself real quick and just speak up. Thanks, Darius. All right. All right. So also, can they unmute themselves? I think so. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Akash said you guys can. Yeah, so if you haven't tried and you have a question, go ahead and try to unmute yourself now and ask, or again, put it in the chat. But yeah, I'm new here to IEEE. How do committees work and how do I join one? Okay. So the way that committees work is, so I believe the ones that we have right now are, we have robotics, treasury, and then the workshop committee. So what the goal of committees is just to kind of help the chair, um, plan different events, get your voice in there if you're not an officer, and yeah, really kind of take that first step to getting really kind of integrated and involved with IEEE. So we don't have the committee slides on this PowerPoint right now, and because we have officer elections going on, um, we're kind of in like a transitioning state. So we're not gonna really get started with committee applications this term, but yeah, definitely within the next term or two, if not summer, especially fall, we're gonna make sure we get committees started up, with the new officers, so that you guys have a nice, way to get involved, put your ideas out there. Yeah, if you'd like to get involved in a more immediate fashion, definitely feel free to apply to be an officer. Like I said, there's no restriction to applying. You don't have to have been in a committee. You can just apply if you're interested, have ideas for what you'd like to do, etc. Yeah, not a problem, Michael. Um, and then, yeah, so somebody else asked if there was a place to access the PowerPoint slides, which there is. So Dan sent that link. Oh, Dan and Darius sent that link in the chat. It's a bit.ly link, so just pop that in. It is case sensitive, so just make sure you keep that in mind. And yeah, you can send it to people that might have missed it. Hit some of the links in the slides, whether it be the application, the feedback form, or some of the resources. And yeah. All right. Thank you, Akash. Yeah. Yeah, Darius will send out an email with the slide link shortly. And then also to advertise officer elections. Make sure you're spreading the word about elections. Maybe if you're not interested, let some of your other friends know that might be interested in becoming an officer. And yeah, anybody have any more questions, comments, thoughts, concerns, etc.? Oh, also before I forget, we do have that Netflix watch party coming up. So if you have any ideas for movies that you might want to watch, you could put them in the chat here. You could put them in the general chat in the Slack, or just message one of us, and yeah, we can go from there. All right. So I guess that about does it. So Emoji Movie, I saw that movie. It is a cinematic masterpiece. Don't even joke. Oh yeah, I should probably mention that. Yeah. So the way that uh, the officer application works is so you'll sign up through the application and through an interview with the exec board, and then from there, the exec board will vote and decide on who would get what role. So yeah, and that exec board will be the exec board from this coming year. So me, Har, Madeline, Sam, and Darius. And don't get too stressed about the interview. It's really just kind of a conversation about why you're interested, what you'd love to do with the role, etc. Yeah, no problem. Okie dokes. So if nobody else has any more questions, okie dokie, yeah. If nobody else has any more questions, that about does it for the meeting. So like I said, thank you guys so much for coming out tonight. We really appreciate it, and we love seeing all of you guys here. And make sure you apply. Yeah, because we'd love to see all of you guys on the board, or as many of you guys on the board. So yeah, again, thank you guys so much, and have a very good night.